make sure that we are, want to pull us up on the Carver page.
There we go. I see it on there.
You see it on the Carver page?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure that we pull it up. Everything's connected. Okay, we're here. We're there. We're everywhere. Okay. Hi, Shantae. How are you?
Hey, I am doing great. How about you?
Good, good, good. So I just want to give a brief introduction before we start. I met Shantae years ago at Aunt Katie's Community Garden, and to see her growth in her what she's been studying Kemetic yoga and the wellness industry overall has been amazing. So I've loved watching it grow over the years. So we've been talking about working with each other for ever. And so we finally got a chance to at this last event that we did together, which was the documentary showing and the Kemetic yoga techniques. And it was an awesome energy. It was an awesome, thing that we did together. And it was just it was a new vibe. It was a new feel. So thank you for that, Shantae. Can you tell us a little bit about Benevolent Life, your company, and what you offer and what you do?
Most definitely. So the Benevolent Life is my baby, pretty much. I actually started off with a different company under a different name, and that was Blessed Body Brand, and I was offering skincare products. So my son had sensitive skin, eczema. I started making skincare products for him, soaps and body butters, and so on and so forth down the rabbit hole. But the more I learned about eczema specifically, and the more I started to make those lifestyle changes, I realized that there was a lot more to it than just what you put on your fast forward to, so that was back in 2012 when that started. Fast forward to 2019, and I had a moment where I was just sitting and I wasn't really pleased with where I was in life at the time. So I just sat and had a conversation with myself, and I was like, there's some things going on here. We need to work through this, heal these things. And I, had a conversation with my son and just let him know that, his life experience hadn't given him the best version of, and I wanted to improve that. I wanted to get better as a person, as a parent, so on and so forth. So that started a different journey of healing, and I discovered Queen of Fua's Emerald Green Holistic Practitioner Program, and I went through that, and I ascended and certified in August of 2020. And then I rolled right into the yoga skills, healing racial trauma certification in August of 2020, and completed that. And it was very transformative. And then I was utilizing these two things between Queen of Food's detox and the lifestyle that she promotes and Kemetic yoga. It just started to snowball some changes for me. Then fast forward to 2021. No, this year, 2022, I actually finished my Parastem hydrotherapist, excuse me, I'm speaking it into Parastem facilitator certification. And it's just been a series of just opportunities to learn and implement these different things. And as I continue to learn and grow, my company continued to grow along with me. So now we are the Benevolent Life, and I provide a suite of lifestyle support products and services to help other people reach optimal wellness in their own life, whatever their goal.
I love it. I love it. I didn't know that part. Even what really piqued me was the healing racial trauma part that we talked about. I was like, whoa, So I think my next question would be, how are you gonna like make all that kind of run together with Kemetic yoga and healing racial trauma? I'm actually pretty excited about that aspect of it.
Absolutely. So when it comes to
And can you
trauma,
speak a little louder, just like a little bit
yeah,
louder, get a little closer? I don't know if I'm being too closer, but yeah, we just want them to hear what you got to say, girl. So,
perfect, perfect. Can you hear me a little better now?
yes, so much better. Thank you.
Okay. So when it comes to trauma, whether you're talking about racial trauma, relationship trauma, any type of trauma, it kicks your body into that fight, flight, or freeze response. It's that, oh my God, something terrible is happening. You're not breathing very deeply. Your breathing is shallow. Your digestive system slows down, sweating. All of these different things are happening because your body is in that sympathetic aspect of the autonomic nervous system. And that is the opposite of healing. That is, I've got to get safety, I've got to survive, so on and so forth. Whereas with Kemetic yoga, there is a heavy, heavy, heavy emphasis on breathing. And that's actually one of the things for me that truly made this a different experience than any other yoga that I've ever done, is because the focus was on breathing. So when you're focused on breathing and you change your breathing pattern and you change the amount of air that you're taking in, all of those things help to kick the body out of that sympathetic aspect and into the parasympathetic aspect. And the parasympathetic aspect is where the healing happens. So when you're talking about traumas, racial traumas, et cetera, so on and so forth, when you sit still and you pay attention to yourself and you find that you're not breathing very deeply, which was the case for me, I was breathing very, very shallow breath. And it took me like an entire month to just daily practice to get to where I could breathe deep. And for me, that was a big eye opener because, I was in marching band, singing the praise team, all of these other things. So I thought that my lungs were strong and I was healthy and so on and so forth. And then I took this class and realized that I had some work still to do when it came to the healing aspect, and that breathing was a very, very big part of how I could get from where I was when I started off on this journey in 2019 to where I want to be, which I still have, progress to make, but I'm definitely closer to a healed and healthier version of myself today than I was the day that I started back in 2020.
I love that because I tried some of those breathing techniques and I realized very quick when you were teaching us that I don't know how to breathe and I haven't been breathing correctly, and it was kind of hard to kind of learn how to breathe. And so I was watching a YouTube video that talked about in the 1940s that people breathed 5 breaths every minute, right? Can you imagine that? But we breathe like 15 to 20 now,
Oh,
15 to
wow.
20 breaths a minute. And he says that's because we're in constant stress.
Yeah.
Like America, like the whole of the United States is in like constant stress. So that's why we're having to take more breaths a minute. So yeah, I learned quickly when I took that the Kemetic yoga class that I didn't know how to breathe, girl. So can you dive a little bit more into what Kemetic yoga is and maybe the origins of it?
Absolutely. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read directly from um, the Kemetic yoga site, which you can actually, if you're interested, go to the website that's in the banner there
Yes,
and to the
scrolling.
link, and you can click on Kemetic yoga certifications. It'll show you the certifications if you're interested in learning, or you can go to kemeticyogaskills.com, and I'll put that in the comments as well. But the question, what is Kemetic yoga? So Kemetic yoga is the ancient Egyptian system of yoga enlightenment based upon the practices of physical movement combined with controlled deep breathing and meditation. The modern version of this ancient system was developed from primary research conducted by Dr. Asar Hafi and Master Yasser Rahotep of Chicago during the 1970s. Kemetic yoga is a healing and regenerative yoga system that is characterized by a series of geometrically progressive postures that creates alignment of the spinal column and corrects defects in the skeletal muscular system in order to relieve stress, increase blood circulation, nutrient and oxygen supply to vital body systems, and to allow internal life force energy and cerebral spinal fluid to flow more efficiently and abundantly throughout the entire body. Kemetic yoga is part of the yoga skills method of yoga, practice that emphasizes creating conditions through activating the parasympathetic nervous system, whereby the body and mind can heal themselves, as opposed to extreme gymnastics and contortionist postures that often cause injury and result in useless competitive mindsets that plague the commercial yoga industry today. Origin. Kemetic yoga emerges from one of the oldest known civilizations, which is ancient Egypt, properly called Kemet, in northeastern Africa and rivals the evolution of yoga in India. Kemetic yoga was developed by studying, translating, and interpreting the commonly called hieroglyphic texts of Kemet or ancient Egypt and the images of yogic postures that are clearly pictured on the walls of the Kemetic temple. Kemetic yoga is both a philosophy and a practice based upon the Kemetic systems of self development that fuel the creation of the Kemetic civilization that spawned Western science, philosophy, and religion. So
All
it's a lot
right.
to unpack there.
Yeah, it is.
Stuff happening when it comes to Kemetic
Yeah.
yoga.
Yeah, it is a lot. And so basically in terms of so the whole movements and everything that's going to help kind of release how are we healing our trauma just by releasing energy, stretching out certain things.
Absolutely. So the first part of it, of course, like we said, is the breathing. So
Hmm.
once you have given your body permission to enter into that calm and relaxed state, then you can start moving the body. Then you can start moving that energy around. Because one thing that we all have to accept, whether you're religious or a spiritual person, is that we are all made of matter, energy, and when our energy stagnates, it creates problems in our body. So there's a book that I joke and say I'm building my library, which is not actually a joke. I actually am building my library. But there's a book called The Body Keeps the Score. And in The Body Keeps the Score, it talks about how our traumas are held in different regions of our body. When you think about trauma as it relates to the human body, you can think of maybe a woman who has experienced some type of rape or some type of sexual trauma. As she progresses through life, if those things are not resolved, then she may have womb imbalances, whether it's issues with fertility or PCOS or any other issue that may be in that area could come from trauma sustained to that area. When it comes to issues of just racial trauma, that's a whole body experience because there's nothing to hide about this. This is exactly what it is. So any space that you go into when you are consciously aware of that trauma, you'll feel that trauma response kick into high.
Hmm.
So when uh oh, somebody's trying to call me and I can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you. I hear the buzzing. uh
Okay.
okay.
So it finally popped up so I can find
Okay.
it. So I lost my train of thought.
No, you're fine.
So
um fight or flight response, healing trauma. We're talking about
so
energy.
so when it comes to energy, think about when the entire world was sitting still, stuck in the house due to COVID-19, and we experienced another police involved Black killing.
Hmm.
Everybody was forced to deal with that. It wasn't just a Black people thing or white people thing. It wasn't just an American thing. It was something that shook the entire world because everybody was able to see, well, everybody who watched the video. I am not watching the video or any other video of the murder of a Black person. I'm not interested. But for those who watched the video, they were able to see firsthand and experience additional trauma firsthand from that experience, which is some more tension in your body. You're worried about how to explain these things to melanated shoes. Not 100% sure, how to proceed. Then when you enter into spaces, shared spaces where you have people who may not look like you, then you have to kind of put on a different face so that you can deal with what they may or may not say about it, that how they may or may not understand. And that's a whole other layer of trauma to have to make that adjustment when you're grieving a situation that shouldn't exist.
Hmm.
So enter in Kemetic yoga when you take the time to essentially, number one, breathe through these issues. It allows you to get to a space where you can visualize yourself living in a world where these things are not happening. But then it also gives you the space to even move your body, to even contemplate the notion that this one thing could be helpful to moving that trauma. But as you move your body, once you've done the breathing exercise, move your body, get that energy flowing, circulating, you release those things from the body. You'll notice your joints start to crack and pop a little bit as you're releasing those gases and things from in your joint. Your spine loosens up. You're not tight. You're not like holding your body in a state of fear because you're actually giving yourself the opportunity and the ability to work through those issues as opposed to just sitting and holding on.
Yeah, so basically it's teaching you because it teaches you the concept that we trap energy in our body, which causes disease. So
Absolutely.
trapped energy is what it's really is what it's calling. It's causing us to be sick and undealt with things that we haven't necessarily dealt with. And I know in the African American community, especially as Black women, there's a lot of womb issues, like a lot of womb issues. Like you have PCOS, you have infertility, which PCOS causes infertility, but that's very interesting to kind of look at it that way because you be more it makes you more conscious of how you accumulate trauma because sometimes we don't know, we just walk around with it. Things
Yeah.
happen to us in life and we just carry it around. We just carry it around like a baggage. What do you call it? A baggage, emotional baggage, things of that nature. So it seems like Kemetic yoga is one of those things to help us release all of that. And so I
Absolutely.
just want to make it clear that when you come, and we'll be doing this through till the end of the year, we'll have these sessions once a month. You can come, you can connect, you can learn things about your body. I think I stretched something in my body I didn't know I had. It was something in my back. I stretched a bone.
It was good
It
though.
was
Good
good. It was a good stretch, but I didn't know that bone was there until I stretched it. And I said, oh, but a
Hey,
lot of
that's
the
a bag you had
stretches,
to put down.
no, but a lot of the stretches felt really good too. It was like I felt the energy release. Like there was one where you did the rocking back and forth one where you had
Yeah.
your ankle up in the air. What is that? It's like a
Now,
hip flexor.
yeah, that specifically
Was it
is
the
for
hip flexor?
the hips.
Okay.
It was for the hips,
Yeah.
and I crack myself up all the time because I go see Dr. Danzy at Danzy Chiropractic, but I
Yes.
also worked with Dr. Danzy providing chiropractic massage. And last year, and that's another one of the things that I did on my healing journey was assemble my team of practitioners. So Dr.
Hmm.
Danzy chiropractic, Nurse Dolores Brockner for colonic, Tracy Dixon for massage. And then, of course,
Oh, and I love the fact that you assembled your own team.
absolutely, you have to.
I love that you were
Mhm.
intentional. You assembled your own team of people to help you
Absolutely,
take care of your body.
you
That's
have
something that we need to know that we can do. You
exactly.
can have say over who's going to help you come to wellness and who's going to help you take care of your body. I love that. So,
And we have to because that another issue. The modern medical establishment is not always a listening ear when it
yeah.
comes to people of color on any side of the gender line. But anyway,
Hmm.
back to Dr. Danzy was treating me for some sciatic nerve, and she told me that it was the psoas muscle, and the spelling of it is Ileopsoas. And so when I looked it up, doing my own research and whatnot, as I am, predisposed to do, I see the P, and I'm like, it's the iliopsoas, the iliopsoas muscle. So I'm just going around pronouncing this muscle iliopsoas, and the P is silent. One of the greatest and most amazing benefits that I have gained from this healing journey is the ability to laugh at.
Yeah,
There's
for sure.
a time where I would have been, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I can't believe that I've been all over everywhere saying iliopsoas and mispronouncing this and da 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 da. People are gonna think that. Child, listen, I laughed until I doggone your head ass.
Yeah.
I
You
take
can't, when you're
time.
healing, you cannot take yourself too seriously.
No, not at all.
It has to be something that's free flowing. I have learned that on my little journey that I'm starting. It has to be, you have to be open. You have to stay open and allow just stuff to happen. Allow and you learn from those things.
Right. And I am going to correct you on one thing.
What is
There
it,
is
girl?
no
Correct
little,
me.
there is no little journey. No,
Okay, I'll take that. I'll
it is
take
your specific journey.
because it feels
No,
big.
it is. Girl,
It
listen.
feels big.
It's big. It is big and it's bigger than you. It's bigger than me. Listen, so I done got into the spirit already and I ain't even said it yet. When I moved into my house,
Hmm.
Black is King had like just come out. And I was like, oh yes, step in the Black Parade. I'm getting down, having a good time. My mom sends me Bigger. And I got chills now just thinking about that song. But that is like altar call from, at
Hmm.
church after the pastor delivers the sermon
Yeah,
and the spirit is just high in the place, and then the musician comes up and then they sing the song and then they start talking about, bring all your
yeah.
burdens to the Lord if you want to give your life to Christ. For me, Bigger takes me right into that energy.
And who sings that song?
Beyonce.
Oh, okay, I need to
Beyonce.
check it out.
Bigger.
Okay.
If you feel insignificant, you better think again. Better wake up because you're part of something way bigger. You're part
Hmm.
of something way bigger. And that's what this is for me. This
Hmm.
is my contribution to our collective. This is me, you know, lying in the sand. This is where I stand. This is how I do things. Our people can heal. We can overcome heart disease. We can overcome diabetes. We can overcome obesity. We can overcome PCOS. We can overcome infertility. We can overcome racial trauma. We can overcome all of these different things that we deal with on a day to day basis because there is somebody somewhere putting forth the work to learn these things, to go through that fire, to get a better understanding of how these different systems work together and how to create something that is accessible to other people. And why do
Hmm.
Kemetic yoga for free? Because we need it to be accessible for as many people as possible. One of the
Yes.
that I have am in the process of healing from is extreme, extreme, extreme anxiety.
Mm.
It has been a debilitating experience over the years, so much so till I essentially just became a hermit. For several years, I was just a hermit. And I think when I met you, I was in that hermit phase. And I
Hmm.
just so happened to venture out that day and met
Yeah.
you, we connected and just happened to stay in touch. But that experience of coming from that state of unhealed trauma and feeling all of that baggage from my life being weighed down by it created a lot of issues and I'm still healing from those issues. One of the things that it impacts is your finance because it's very difficult to be actively involved in your life even on the level of your financial self when your survival mode is just all over the place and you're just terrified of everything. So come bringing Kemetic yoga to the community as a free class is my way of saying to the people in a situation where similar to what I was is, hey, it's okay, it's safe over. You can be seen over. There's no judgment over. This is zone that is for everybody, and we of course are welcoming all of our color melanated brothers and sisters. Anyone who is non-melanated and enter into the space, we just ask for allyship. That's it. Ask that if you come into the space, that you're giving energy, that you're a pleasant energy, and that you are able to listen to the experiences of melanated people, people of color, without inserting yourself, without saying, nobody alive today was responsible for slavery and all of those other things that kind of just diminish and sweep our traumas under the rug because these are things that we do need to heal. And when you think about, and we had this conversation the other day when it comes to epigenetics. there are things that are passed down genetically through your DNA that cause you to feel trauma, to feel that stress. So even if you personally have grown up with an amazing life, you may still find yourself, scrunched up shoulders, your jaw clenched all tight,
Hmm.
waking up in the morning, teeth sore because you've been grinding your teeth all night. Those types of things, because there is trauma that is intrinsic, just comes with the melanin.
Yeah.
And kinetic yoga is an opportunity as well to address that. So we're healing racial trauma in our own physical vessel, but also for our bloodline for as far back as, we have existed in time and space. So this is just an opportunity for us as a people to come together to learn something new. You don't have to be a Christian to attend. You don't have to be a spiritualist to attend. All you have to do is be alive and walk into the
Yeah.
room. That's it.
That's
That's
that's pretty much it. And I will add on to that, Shantae. Like if you live in society, you got trauma. Okay. If you live in society, if you live here in the United States, you got some trauma.
yeah.
So what how beautiful it is to get all different types of people in this space, this safe space, and whether it be white, black, but even talking about healing racial trauma amongst different types of people would just be it would be so cathartic. It would just be a great experience, I think. And so um, I want the community to take advantage of this. Shantae is offering her time. We're offering our space to make this happen. And if we have yoga mats already on deck
Yes,
from
indeed.
the Give Back Yoga Foundation, they donated 18 mats for us. So if you don't have a yoga mat, or you don't let that be a barrier, come out. We'll be, like I said, we'll be doing this to the end of the year. Um, and we'll have sea moss smoothies that are
Yes.
delicious. I call them, they are amazing. I was just throwing them back the last time, but you be careful because that sea moss will clean you out.
Yes,
Okay.
indeed. And
I
let me
call them
tell you,
I call them dangerously delicious, honey, because
yeah,
because
and
they
they
are so good, but they really do, and I felt so good afterwards. But we'll have all natural sea moss here, um, helping us out, and you can get a sea moss smoothie afterwards, and the after the event. Is there anything else, Shantae, that you want to add? I mean, I think you've done such a great job. Did we go over everything that we needed to say about this event
you
in
know,
Kemetic Yoga?
I think that we did. Let me look back to my notes here and double check. But while I'm doing that, this is everybody's experience does not have to be like mine.
Yeah.
There is no law that says that you have to have extreme trauma. You have to be coming from a place of darkness. You have to, none of those things are relevant. It genuinely is about your specific journey. Remember, there's no little journey. Your specific journey is specific to you, whatever
Yeah.
trauma you have experienced in life. So come and be prepared to just come into a state of calm with our breathing exercises, and then move your body so that we can release stored trauma and just transmute that energy into something positive.
Hmm.
Because I've said before and I'll say again, trauma for one person may be that they were forced to sit at the table and eat oatmeal, and they hate oatmeal because it's slimy and their mom wouldn't let them eat anything else. That's trauma. And for some children, that's a deep, deep,
No,
deep
I
down
had some moments where I'm like, like, yeah, I won't eat certain things now. It's like, yeah.
because those things matter. And
Yeah.
again, there is no little journey. So
Yeah.
even something that you think is as minuscule as that had an impact on you psychologically. So give yourself grace in understanding that all of the little ticks and things that you have, and the way that you exhibit yourself in the world comes from somewhere. And even if you can't specifically identify where that is or what started it, and all of that kind of stuff, taking on a form of yoga like Kemetic yoga is definitely going to help to release that trauma even before you can name it. But of course, any traumas that you can name, you really can heal, and you can heal not just for yourself, but for your bloodline as well.
Yeah. And we're a safe space. So come out just to connect too. Like, I don't know anything about yoga, but I'm excited to learn from Shantae. I want to implement this in my life, in my, on a consistent basis. I felt really good afterwards. So it's just come out to a safe space. You want to connect with people, hang out, chill for a couple hours. Say you did something different. Say you tried something different on a Saturday. Check out the Carver's page. We have all the dates listed and we have all the events listed as well. Um, I feel like I wanted to say something else, but I think that might be it for me. Shantae, is that it for you?
September the 24th at 11 o'clock
Yes,
is our
thank you.
next upcoming session. So September the 21st, this coming Saturday at 11 a.m. Come out. You don't have to have yoga pants. Just wear something that is loose fitting and comfortable, something you don't mind getting a little sweaty. And we will, come together. We will get into this experience. We've got it scheduled from 11 to 1 o'clock, but we're not going to be doing yoga for 2 hours. You will have time to ask questions at the end, get you a smoothie, interact and network with, all of the other students, and just really make this into a successful event so that we can schedule for 2023
I
and
know, because we going into
keep it going
2023.
on a high.
Yeah, on a high, on a high. So, like she said, September the 24th from 11 to 1, come out to the Carver Museum. We will be here ready with open arms. She's going to be ready to stretch you
Woo!
and help you release some of that energy. Thank you so much, Shantae, for just giving us your time and explaining this. And hopefully, people got a good explanation of what Kemetic yoga is so they can come in, know, and do your own research, of course, like I always say. But we're excited for the next couple months.
And thank
So,
you for having me and for your support.
always, thank you for being a great ally of the Carver and always, helping me. So I appreciate you, sis. And thank you guys. Bye, Shantae.
Bye, y'all.